Is the president a true believer in business or not? Did he convince business people that he's on their side now? We have a difference of opinion now from our guest, Donald Luskin, Chief Investment Officer with Trend Micro, who says the only sense in which Obama is pro-business is the way in which a wolf is pro-sheep. Meanwhile, political strategist and Genius Rocket CEO Mark Walsh couldn't disagree more. He firmly believes Obama remains pro-business. Don Luskin, you were the guy that he was going to try to turn, right? I mean, you're the skeptic. Nothing he said today, reforming the tax code, getting rid of regulations that are burdensome, none of that convinced you?
Well, the question is, what are we trying to convince me of? Are we trying to convince me that Barack Obama, all along in his heart of hearts is sincere about wanting to help business? Well, we know that's not true. He just had 2 years under the Rahm Emanuel doctrine of never let a good crisis go to waste. He had gigantic majorities in both houses of Congress. If he wanted to lower the corporate income tax rate or do away with regulations or do this or that, he had every power to do so.
But
and the
would you
only
agree
reason he's now even going to the Chamber of Commerce is because the electorate gave him a shellacking, in his own words. So is it all to the good? Sure. Is it sincere? No way.
You don't believe it's sincere. How about you, Mark Walsh?
It is completely sincere, and he's the most business-friendly president we've had in a long time. Just look at the results. Corporate profits are off the charts, better than ever. Wall Street earnings better than ever. The economy is recovering. The only thing that's lagging is jobs, and that's what he went to the Chamber of Commerce today to ask about spending. Those companies are spending the corporate profits they're getting on American workers. He has always said he's for education and infrastructure. He has always said he is for smart regulation. He is saying the same things, but he's finally saying it in a way simple enough for Tom Donahoe and his cronies to understand it.
Mark, I have to say, that felt to me like a John McEnroe moment. Can you be serious? He's the most pro-business president we've had in a long time.
Yes.
The facts would not seem to be arrayed to that point.
Look at the results, not what you wish to look at, with all due respect. The results are that since the biggest plate of rotten sausage handed any president in the last 70 years, in the last 2 years under his administration, the economy has recovered. He made the investment with TARP. He's making the investment in infrastructure and education. He is keeping corporate tax rates high, but the actual tax rate that's collected is not that bad compared to the rest of the world. And he's also suggesting that we need to hire American employees, which many corporations the U.S. Chamber of Commerce represents are not doing.
So, Don, what could the president do at this juncture to sway you more that he is turning more pro-business? What could he do? What does he need to do?
Well, it's simple. He could start acting and stop talking. And the best action he could take would just be to get out of the way. American business doesn't want clean energy and green jobs and light rail and all of these gigantic collectivist statist infrastructure projects that he wants to be in charge of. Just slash tax rates, slash the minimum wage, slash regulations. And President Obama, please don't tell me that you want to have less regulation. You just spent the last 2 years putting in the worst anti-business regulations in history. And in this speech, he refers to Dodd-Frank and Obamacare as, oh, that was common sense. So if we're going to have common sense regulation going forward in the future, we're going to have more of the same.
Mark Walsh, I mean, do you give any credence to what Don's saying in that he says, look, I want to be helpful to business, and yet I think Dodd-Frank was really good. I think healthcare reform was really good. We think it was common sense, etc. To some degree, sometimes it feels like in his speech there's a little bit of scolding there. You're not living up to the social compact.
Well, maybe we should all just take a moment, including your other guest, and take a look at what's happened in the last 36 months. It seems to me a little odd that everyone seems to forget that slashing regulation and slashing corporate taxes and slashing all the things that your other guest suggests we should slash brought us to a point where we almost had the worst financial situation in the last 70 years. So let's not be also short-term memory. Point number one. Point number two, to suggest that
so that means you're in favor of more regulation, as is President Obama, right?
Can I just finish this for a second?